And by that time it was too late.
I can only hope that Nick looks at the project and decides, hey, let's give them more budget to work with.
We'll have to see what
Yeah, did you like
happens.
that game of Whack-A-Gator?
Oh look, only one more.
Yep. And I know exactly who to give it to.
What I will say is that it's very unlikely that we will. It's very unlikely that Nick will put too much effort. I just don't see that happening. When it comes to licensed games, if they don't do well out of the gate, 9 times out of 10 they tend to just drop the project when it comes to licensed games. Now, that's most of them. This could be the one time where maybe they don't, but we don't know yet.
We don't know if that's the case yet.
It's only been out for 3 days, so it's hard to say. But I will say that it was, like I said, it was $49.99. That's its original price. But I got it. It was on sale for $10 off right when it came out. That's what makes me kind of nervous. But the color thing, that's going to happen already, so that's a good fix. Balancing probably will also be something that'll happen, which is good. Obviously DLC is definitely going to happen, so maybe they'll add DLC modes and stuff too.
We have 2 free DLC characters confirmed.
Well, not just characters, but like modes and stages and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And then the other thing, the voices may come. If they do, that could be solved. The only other thing that I think could be added and fixed would be a story, just a plot.
Oh yeah.
And they could either update the arcade mode and change it to have a story, or they could just have a simple story mode.
They can have a simple story mode.
Well, I can tell you this much. I can tell you this much, boys.
Huh.
Whether we get them or not, one thing's for certain: modders are already at work.
Oh,
yeah.
There's that. Which is why I'm probably going to get the PC version if that's the case.
So you can mod the voices in yourself.
Well, anything that gets added in that might make the game more interesting that if the devs can't do or aren't allowed to do. That's another issue with licensed games. The issue of the company allowing you to do things.
I mean, look at Sora.
Yeah. Well,
Disney didn't allow Smash Brothers devs to really do all that much aside from just use the Kingdom Hearts exclusive content.
yeah.
Notice the lack of stuff like Donald and Goofy.
Well, to be fair, I think that's kind of fits with the whole no non-video game characters in here.
That too.
I think, to be honest, I thought that was going to happen anyway because of the non-video game thing. I was like, yeah, Sakurai's probably not going to include anything Disney anyway, even if they allowed him to do it. The only Disney like actual content is the Mickey Mouse keychain. That's it.
That's it.
Which kind of has to be on there because that's iconic. But anyway, like I was saying about one more thing I'd like to say about Nicktoons is like, I think if we'll see how the fixes go along, but for me right now, like I said, I'd give it a fair 6.5. I think the people.
6.5 to 7.5.
I think people are being a little too harsh and giving it a 5. I don't think it's that bad of a game, but I think.
Really isn't.
But I don't think it's. I don't think it's like a really high score like some people would wish it'd be like an 8 or a 9.
Like it plays stupidly well, but it still needs some work.
But we'll see what happens. But whether it will actually improve and get people's attention, or it will be a giant wet fart, that Nickelodeon will pretty much just forget about it ever happened.
And that's my biggest worry about this is that, like, that's all it'll end up as. Just a big, wet fart.
Just
Well-
a real wet fart with reverb.
But the thing I think the main issue that I'm more concerned about right now about the game is the fact that Sora is going to be releasing in 2 weeks. This means that this Nicktoon game has about 2 weeks to really improve, or to at least gain your some kind of attention. Because when Sora releases, that's going to really hurt its attention. Like, I mean,
Considering the game does have its own player base, like, there's like a server full of like 10k plus people.
And I think if I remember correctly, I've said this in one of our previous Donkey Kong things that I said, that if someone like Sora gets in, it'll hurt. It would hurt Nicktoon All Stars most likely. In some, maybe not like to a great extent, point like where like you can bank, it would shut down the game. But I feel like it's definitely going to take eyes away from it. But I said if it was Pokemon, then people would be like, well, I think we'll go to this game.
Flock to the game in spite.
Probably. And then play it, and then most likely feel less lackluster than the result. It was a good thing. I don't know. Anyway, the point is that I'm going to give it a 6.5 for now. If they do everything that I mentioned when it comes to like fixing things like the voices, the colors, which they are going to do, the extra content and stages, a story mode, I would probably give it like an 8 then.
So as it stands, it's a 6.
It's a 6 to 6.5 for me.
At launch.
At launch.
And do you agree?
I'd say 6.5 to 7.5.
So
That's my standing.
Very generous.
For me, I'd say it's an average game that doesn't really try too hard to be.
Well, see.
Well,
my opinion on the whole thing. I'm just very glad I didn't buy the game at launch.
Yeah, I think it's best. This is definitely not a launch pickup game. This is a game that you wait for extra stuff to come out.
Yeah.
Because like
I made the right call and like Pokemon Banana Mania instead.
So if I had to give my description of that, I can't believe I'm actually reviewing it. 6.5 or 6 to 6.5, and the reason for the score is because it's a very bare bones game with lacking of content, a lot of no voices, which Nick should have included, no story to explain what's happening, and just a lot of things that a basic fighting game should have at the beginning of the game when it's released. And it has potential, but there's a lot of issues that need to be fixed before it gets a higher rating.
Ladies and gentlemen, let it be known that it's unsurprising that a licensed game was going to end up being subpar at best. Let it be known about that, but you know what? That's not to say that there are bad Nickelodeon games, because there's some good ones.
There's very many good Nick games out there.
It's just
Battle for Bikini Bottom.
It's just that for every Battle for Bikini Bottom, you have.
I wouldn't even say Nicktoon All-Star Brawl is a terrible licensed game.
No, I'm just saying. For every Battle for Bikini Bottom, you have whatever the fuck that GBA SpongeBob game was supposed to be.
Which one?
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've gone on long enough.
Did you get all the bananas?
What was that?
Did you get all the bananas?
I did indeed. And in fact, all that's left now is for me to go get... Actually, you know what? No, never mind. Continue. I forgot one last thing.
I was saying, like, you have 24 out of 25.
Yes. The last thing I need
You're
is the
missing a
blueprint.
banana.
Fairies.
But so yeah, that's my description of it. At least I think it's a bare bones game that definitely has lack of content. Things that a basic fighting game should have had, and Nickelodeon should have friggin' forked over the fundings for it.
Oh shit, Anthony's right. I forgot fairies.
And has potential, and like I said, if
It
everything,
has the potential, but we'll have to see if it can accomplish that potential.
I'm not gonna blame it. The thing is, I'm not gonna blame the devs for this. A lot of people probably will, but I'm not going to, because
Don't blame Ludosity. Don't blame Fair Play Labs. Blame Nickelodeon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna blame the devs. I'm gonna blame Nick, because they're the ones that are kind of held this thing back from being a lot better than what it could have been.
Those three companies I just described are indie developers. They're putting their all into this.
Yeah, they're not a big. See, that's the one problem when it comes to those licensed games. Like, a lot of licensed games that get made by like big third parties, they actually look really good, and that's because the third party developers are making them, and in most 9 times out of 10, the publisher or the license holder, whether it be Disney, Warner Brothers, or Nick, they don't really have to give the third party too much money, because they already have the money to make the game, because they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So like when Disney or when Square Enix makes Kingdom Hearts, they're making that with they are getting funding from Disney, but they also are using a lot of their own money too. Or if Capcom works with Marvel, or if what's it called? THQ works with Nick with SpongeBob. They have the money to make these games, so they don't have to worry about giving them funding. So when an indie developer does a game with a big corporation, that corporation treats it the same way and feels like, oh, they can do a product with a certain amount of money. It's like, no, they can't. They're an indie developer. They don't have the billions of dollars these other corporations have. So you need to give them the proper funding to actually make a quality game that could live up to the hype, or at least the...
You reap what you sow.
Yeah. Because, like, I can tell you, if this game, if for some reason Nickelodeon...
Care more about this than just how they did before.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, if I feel it...
More care into this game and allow the developers to do more.
Well...
Yeah, this game could become great.
I also feel like it'd be a different story if they could have, like when it comes to indie developers, they need to give them more money. But what Nick needs to realize is that they're not a multi-billion-dollar corporation. If they wanted a quality fighting game, Smash Brothers like game, that with a company that has tons of money, they should have just asked Nintendo and Sakurai, and then hey. But then again, I think that would have been a bad idea, because Sakurai just came out with Ultimate, and then he would have been getting tons of the same stupid requests, but this time for Nick characters. But here,
Where's my strike? Where's my strike? It's Myers.
But no, I think what they could have done is they could have hired Bandai Namco at the very least, because this is now Bandai Namco's second Smash game. But it's just, if they wanted a full quality game with not having spending that much money.
Alright, just one more fairy.
But for the money that or the funding that they got, they didn't do too bad.
They had a precedent already with the game Slap City. So I imagine they just perfected the mechanics of that game and suited it to Nick characters.
You know I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for. You have the X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Capcom. Can we get a Capcom working on a game called Nicktoons versus Cartoon Network?
That'd be hilarious.
You can make a reference to the fact that the Cartoon Network characters were on the Nickelodeon channel at one point, advertising Cartoon Network.
That would be funny.
I would love that. I want to frickin' see Eddie slap SpongeBob.
Wouldn't that be great?
Or Dexter shoot Zim with a laser.
Wouldn't that be great?
Or Johnny Bravo hit on Beautiful Gorgeous.
I say once again, wouldn't that be great?
I mean, you know he would hit on Beautiful Gorgeous.
Alright, the last fairy's in this one.
Still just like a pipe dream.
Yeah, it's a pipe dream. And like another pipe dream is the DC versus Marvel, which a lot of people want to see happen.
Of course, all these companies are just button heads.
Well, it don't really matter anymore because eventually Disney will probably own all of them.
It's gonna. I guarantee you, there's gonna be a day where all the companies gonna rise up and take down Disney.
Oh yeah.
He's the main villain.
Oh no!
Literally just the uprising of the mouse.
You know,
they're gonna hang. They're hanging Mickey by the frickin'.
Speaking of that damn rat, I want to talk about something, but that will wait for the next episode because we've been on this Nickelodeon topic for far too long, and
because we want to move on to Disney now.
And I need to mention that I have completed. Wait, hang on.
Nothing.
I've completed Angry Aztec. Everybody's got everything.
Man, that's some angry Aztec.
Shut up.
Okay, so we'll meet you guys. Alright, so this next episode's going to be our last recording because it's already getting late. So we'll be seeing you guys over at Frantic Factory for the next one. So I just want to end it off by saying Nickelodeon.
Because well, anyway.